Hello, everyone. My name is Sophie Hansen, and I'm a senior in the social work program. And I just want to thank you all for being here with me today as I share my capstone project with you. So I'm going to start off by sharing my screen. And today I will be talking about the effectiveness of hospital outreach visits on the mental well-being of seriously ill children and their families. So starting with kind of what is known in the literature, it's known that hospitalization causes fear, anxiety, and stress in the patients as well as their parents because the children often don't fully understand their diagnosis, don't understand why they're there, and also know that their parents are stressed and that they're in this strange place. They don't really know what's going on. And then looking at the parents are stressed because they might be unsure about their child's diagnosis and don't really fully understand it yet, are worried about the outcome of their child's illness. They're worried about their career, um, other children they may have, other family members, and medical bills and other expenses. And what I really found that was missing in the literature was specific data on hospital outreach for seriously ill children, meaning children who are in the hospital more long term. All of the things that I really found were geared more towards children who had shorter stays in the hospital. Also, something I found that was lacking was standard models for hospital outreach programs. The ones that I looked at really kind of varied and had all these different components. So I think it would be interesting to see kind of a more standard model for these kinds of things. So my hypothesis was that hospital visits and outreach programs improve the mental well-being of seriously ill children and their families. Moving into theoretical background, I want to start with family life cycle theory, which kind of says that there are these emotional and intellectual stages that are passed through from childhood to retirement years as a family member. And serious illness can really alter how people transition through these stages because the family dynamic may change and just shifts have to be made because of the illness, so they may not be functioning as normally. This kind of goes in with systems theory as well, which kind of says that the processes that affect the ideal functioning of the family can cause disorder. And serious illness disrupts normal functioning of the family unit because if a child is sick, a parent may have to quit their job, siblings may have to stay out of school, especially during the pandemic when most of these kids can't get vaccinated. Their siblings or their parents can't be around large groups of people either. So that's something that really has an effect on the whole family and just different things like that. Then moving into my research design, we have my research question and just kind of how I conducted my research. So I did an outcome evaluation looking at surveys from HUGS, which is a local nonprofit that serves seriously ill children and their families, and I compared that with the literature review. So I want to jump into HUGS's hospital outreach program, which contains 3 key components. So we have the toy chest, bedside play, and amenity kits. So HUG staff go to different hospitals around Oahu and they give out new toys and gift cards for children and teens who are undergoing painful procedures. They engage with kids in the hospital and kind of give them a chance to have fun and be a kid again and kind of forget about their hospitalization for a minute and pass out amenity kits to parents just so that parents have a chance to freshen up if they can't leave and just really give the parents a break for a minute just so they can kind of relax themselves and get it together again. Then these are a couple questions that I pulled from the HUG survey. So the HUG surveys are sent out to families every year so they can kind of gauge HUG services and give their reviews. And the first question I pulled was, while my child was hospitalized, visits from HUGs helped me feel less isolated. And 55% of families suggested that they strongly agree, which I think is really important because being in the hospital, it can make you feel scared, lonely, you feel like you're going through this alone. So the fact that when people come in with smiles and toys and just are able to help them relax from that for a minute, I think is really important. And then the other one was the support of HUG staff and volunteers has had a positive effect on my mental well-being. And 63% strongly agreed with this, which I think is very important as well. Moving into common themes that I found from the surveys. So these surveys also went over a span of 5 years. So there was quite a bit of data on this. So some common things that really stuck out amongst all of them were that levels of stress and anxiety were decreased, coping skills among parents were improved, families gained an increased sense of belonging, and the most important one that really stuck out amongst all of them was that they felt supported during a time which is usually the most stressful in their journey. Because in hospitalization, it's usually when they're in the thick of their treatments, they're really not sure of the outcome of how everything is going to go, and stress levels are at their highest. So implications that this research has for HUGs was that these results can help HUGs gauge the effectiveness of their programs and be able to make changes to fit the needs of families better if changes do need to be made, and kind of open the door for future funding to be able to obtain grants and other opportunities to be able to enhance the hospital outreach program. Broader implications of this research was that other nonprofits who have the same programs or similar programs can enhance them, or new ones can be put into place. Advocacy, so this population can gain a voice and people can really be able to hear them and hear their concerns and their needs and their wants. And it can increase awareness for families. And so families out there in similar situations can know that there are programs for them, there are people to help them and advocate for them, and policy changes as well. So policies can be altered or put forward to assist these families for the variety of needs that they have. And these are my references. And does anyone have any questions? Thank you for listening.